What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar. We're going to be breaking down our futures contract per usual. Going to be doing some TNA, some technical analysis. We're going to be looking at our monthly, our weekly, and our daily time frame. And then last but not least, we'll look at our 30-minute time frame, review what happened today, review kind of what happened yesterday, as I did not make a video yesterday, and then just kind of give you guys my thought process and what I'm looking forward moving forward. And I will also be discussing some of my trades that I took today. Should have held on is all I got to say. But ultimately, great way to end the week. I did well these last few days. So let's go ahead and break down the monthly. Our monthly chart has been one time framing up, meaning we're setting higher highs, higher lows. The trend in the monthly has been to the upside, right? It's been a very strong, positive, bullish run to the upside for the last several months. 1, 2, 3, 4. This month being the 5th, just because it's an inside month does not make it stop the one-time framing up. The only way we do is if we take out last month's low, which is 50.63. That is going to be a major line in the sand. Is going to be that 5,000 level, basically. If we get below 50.63, then we'll come back into an initial 3-month balance. There's a lot of time left in this month, so we could continue to push lower. If these sellers really want to get things moving to the downside, and I've been saying it would not be a bad move, or it would not be bad or unhealthy for the market to have a little bit of a pullback and some consolidation in the bigger picture, maybe gather some larger time frame buyers, which would make this market stronger ultimately in the end. In doing so, maybe we get a good pullback with that, and gives us really good opportunities on both the short and the long side. With the short term and the long term picture. So the monthly still one time framing up. Okay, so the monthly is still healthy. Buyers want to defend last month's low of 50.63 if we get there. Okay, now let's look at our weekly. Our weekly was in balance. Okay, we are now one time framing down on our weekly time frame. Weekly has broken out of balance to the downside. All right, so we stopped the one-time framing up last week, right? We stopped that one-time framing up last week, put ourselves back into an initial 3-week balance, and now we are one-time framing down. Yes, you could use this this weekly low right here, 51.57, as your balance low, and then you could say maybe you just slightly stretched your balance low. But for me, where I have my balance area or my channel area, we are one time framing down. We have now officially gotten good push and acceptance below this 51.94 area, basically the 5200 area. And I'll show you guys that in more detail on our 30-minute time frame, and how I see that. So right now we are one time framing down, which means the trend right now is setting lower highs, lower lows, and it is to the downside. So far from the all-time high, if we measure, we've pulled back about 3%. A healthy pullback would be somewhere between 5 and 6%. 5% would put us somewhere around this 50-60 level, right? That's going to be a target. Kind of these weekly lows right here, I'm going to mark as a target on the downside. Or at least I'm going to just kind of mark in general this 50-63 level, which was that monthly low from last month. All right, so that is a target on the downside, an area where buyers most certainly want to hold if we have any more buyers left in this market. Now let's look at the daily. Our daily balance was essentially the same, all right? Was essentially the same range as our weekly balance. If you were using the all-time high and that low from last Thursday, you could have been using that as your low. Now things got a little tricky this week, where we kind of were in balance, got near the balance low, pushed up, got above the 20-day moving average, really couldn't find much air or room above the 20-day moving average. We rolled back over, we stretched our balance low. Yesterday we had an outside day up, which put ourselves back into balance, or remained in balance, but slightly stretching it even more. And then today we firmly come out of balance to the downside, and we are one time framing down, and we're right around that 50-day moving average. Now, my daily balance was slightly different I was using Thursday's high, and then where we stretched the low here on Wednesday as my balance low. And then I was calling the daily down yesterday, right? Because we did take it out, but ultimately we ended up with a reversal to the upside. Just short-term momentum players pushed this thing up, stretched it to the 20-day moving average, which in hindsight, excellent short opportunity if you really look at it. Great short opportunity against that 20-day moving average. But, you know, with the market being in balance, the better short would be at the higher price, 5,300 level, in my opinion. So if you did get short there, get on the back test of that 20-day moving average and you're swing trading it, excellent job, as you are reaping the benefits right now. And you have gotten near the 50-day moving average, which is right there at 51.45. Basically getting near where we want to see this market kind of hold. Now we do have this large gap down here on the daily, which is just below that 50.63 level, which would be this daily low right here. We're also going to mark that on our daily as a target, or as an kind of our line in the sand. We kind of want to establish that area. But that is the monthly low, right? We'll go ahead and label that as monthly low. And then we'll just put March. So that is March's monthly low. That is the line in the sand. But so far, like I said, not a bad pullback, not unhealthy for the market to have this pullback against the 50-day moving average. Now, we definitely want to see how we react here. So far, initially, first time down here, against that 50-day moving average, we are kind of bouncing, as you would see, or as one would say. So if we hold the 50-day moving average, or maybe we get a little bit of consolidation in the lower distribution from the day, we'll see that on our 30-minute time frame. If we do so, we may see a bit of a pushback up and put ourselves back into a balance once again on the daily time frame, but ultimately the weekly is one time framing down. And this low here being the weekly low, 51.50, you most certainly want to see us take that out on the weekly time frame if you are a seller, right? If you're a buyer, you want to see us hold it on the other hand. So one time framing down on the daily, the trend is to the downside. We are trending lower, setting lower highs, lower lows, officially out of balance. Now let's go ahead and look at our 30-minute time frame. Kind of look in the bigger picture here, what our balance area was. Oh, why is it not highlighting? There it goes. This was essentially what our balance was looking like. And then you can see how we finally broke out of that balance to the downside. If I get rid of all these lines here, get rid of all this junk, I'm gonna keep that line up. I'm gonna keep that all-time high line in. If we look at just today, or let's look at the last 2 days. So let's look at yesterday. All right, I know I'm going to jump all over the place here, but let's look at yesterday. Yesterday, after taking out Wednesday's low and getting crickets for it, right? We got crickets below Wednesday's low. Really didn't get any extension to the downside. Just barely missed getting the what was it, 11 wide point of control down here at 81.25, which was a downside destination. Just getting crickets, right? We pushed up and then rallied to the upside, right? Momentum buyers, short-term traders push this market to the upside, resulting in an outside day up, creating a double distribution day to the upside. Now, what I'm highlighting right here is the lower distribution. What I'm highlighting up here is going to be the upper distribution, okay? Now, one thing I want you guys to notice is how we opened in the lower distribution. So it just goes to show you that the short-term traders really weren't that strong, right? You got to know who you're trading against, as Paul always says. And short-term traders, yes, they pushed up higher. Yes, they put this market back into a balance, but they are weak-handed and they gave it up as we opened up in the lower distribution, which is typically the worst-case scenario if you were a buyer up here, right? So say you were all gung-ho. You're like, oh, we took out the previous day's high. Let's say you didn't get long exactly at the high, but you got long right here on this pullback, 52.32, right? Well, we opened up today at 52.04. You're 30 points in, or 30 points against you. You're sucking wind on that trade. You're about 30 points negative on that trade. And if you took a big position there thinking we would go and test 5,300, well, you definitely were stuck in wind today. And that just goes to show you what happened when we did push up. Those that did buy late in the day yesterday, if they didn't get out at the open, they got out just right on this push up against the upper range of the upper distribution from yesterday, which turned out to be an excellent short opportunity. The second opportunity to get short today was on this rally here against the 5,200 level. All right, which was an excellent opportunity to get short there as well. But yeah, yesterday was just a grind push up to the upside, ended in a double distribution day. And we opened up in the lower, rolled over, and then attempted to go trend to the downside and initially failed. All right, we initially failed going trend on the downside today. If I pull up the destinations, you can see where we had single prints yesterday. We had an afternoon pullback low from yesterday as well. All these destinations pretty much get neglected. But right here, this, in my opinion, was an excellent short right here against 5220. Right, you pushed up early in the morning. Pretty much what you get when the overnight is short. If you look here on our 10-minute chart, I'm gonna pull up the 10-minute chart, and I'm gonna highlight kind of essentially. It might not be the exact same area, but essentially where the upper distribution was from yesterday and where the lower distribution was from yesterday as well. Highlight all that. So this is where the upper distribution was from yesterday. If you look here, right, see how we packed in volume for majority of the night, kind of create this wide volume wedge up here, and then in the overnight session just slowly drifted towards the downside before opening the RTH session inside of that lower distribution. So anybody that did buy up here, right, if they did not get out on this push up, right, they were sucking wind, right? And then anybody that did short up here as we did push lower, they would be the cause of the bid against the previous day's low, which would result in an inventory adjustment to the upside. So that just means, the market got too stretched to the downside. Think of it as a rubber band, got too stretched to the downside, and it kind of recontracted a little bit towards a very, very visual area, which was that upper distribution or upper portion of the lower distribution, 5220, 50, which was an excellent short opportunity, resulting in this market rolling over and getting the initial balance low, get one time framing down, and got the 11 wide point of control. After we got the 11 wide point of control, it kind of seemed like that's all they really wanted to do. Now, sellers had multiple things in their corner at the time, except for value, right? Value was not really in their corner. They did have the overnight low. They did have one time framing down. They did have the initial balance low. They did have the opening, right? They were defending the opening, and they had taken out the previous day's low once again. So sellers had multiple things in their corner, right? They opened up in the lower distribution as well. So sellers were very comfortable for the most part. But once we got that 11 wide point of control, we got an initial bounce. And you could see we were holding single prints initially. They got filled. And the momentum buyers just kind of slowly stepped into this market, pushing it up higher and higher, which resulted in an excellent short opportunity, one that I did take. If I could pull up my thing, I only made $156. Don't hate on me, but I did get short here. I got short 51.99, 51.96, 51.88. Actually, I took that off for 2 points. I was short initially 41.94, 41.99, 41.96 was the add-ons, and then got out on the push down for a couple points, as I did not know if this market was really going to roll over. Now, one thing that I was taking that trade against is if you pull up my 1 minute chart here, you can see the 144 simple moving average is the white line, not the dashed one, but the white line right in here. Not zoom that in so much, but you can see each push up against it resulted in a pretty good opportunity to get short. So right in here, when we did push above it, that's where I was getting short, right? I was getting short to rotate. Initially, what my target was 51.90, but the way we were reacting and just kind of chopping around here, I didn't like the price action as much. So As it pushed down, it chopped around a little bit and then pushed back down. I took the opportunity to just get out of the trade, make my money on the day, and then walk away because I did not know if they were going to do exactly what they did yesterday, right? Right? Yesterday, you would have thought the same thing. We were going to do what we did today ultimately, but we ended up going the opposite direction. Same setup was pretty much presented today for the buyer or for the sellers to really get hurt, right? Same exact look, right? Same exact look, except for this time the sellers really stepped in and this market rolled over, went trend to the downside, finally going double distribution to the downside, putting the daily down, putting the weekly down. But that was a very, very visual area, right? I knew what my out was. I was either going to get stopped out 5201.50s, 2 ticks above 5201, this high right here, sees high, or I was going to let it run maybe a little bit more towards 5204. I was thinking about adding on the push up, but really didn't want to get murdered like these sellers did here yesterday, right? So we do go out with a double distribution day down. The other excellent selling opportunities was a push against these highs here, 5170, 5172, 5174 against this set of single prints right here where I'm highlighting. This was an excellent shorting opportunity. If I bring up the 144 or bring up the 1 minute chart and show you guys here, I believe you will see the 144 kind of come into play a few times in that exact same area, right? Great short opportunity, which resulted in another low on the day, 5150. So excellent tool there for those that know nothing about that. Look at the 144 simple moving average on your 1 minute chart can be beneficial sometimes, especially on a trend day down. But each time we pushed up into these set of single prints resulted in a nice push back down, right? We pushed up into them, set a new low on the day, pushed up into them, set a new low on the day, pushed up into them, set a new low on the day, and then ultimately just kind of shaping up, rounding out this lower distribution. But the first 3 times in that area was an excellent short opportunity on the downside. I wish I had been present for those. We did get these other daily lows. The only daily lows left are 5124. From the 5th of March, we have the gap that starts at 5112.25, and that gap gets filled at 5157, which is slightly below where the monthly low is from the month of March. So that gap gets filled there. That we do have a 10-wide point of control, 5037.25 on the downside, 5018 low day from the 21st. Now these are back adjusted from the rollover, and then we'll mark our destinations real quick and give you guys some upside destinations come Monday. So 5150 is today's low day. I hope you guys performed well. If not, maybe next week will be a better week. We should hopefully get some type of follow through since the weekly has officially gone one time framing down mode. So one can only hope that maybe we really get some, instead of all the chop that we've seen the last 2 weeks, maybe we can really get some continuity and pushes to the downside where maybe on rallies we are able to take a nice short, right? And we can trust it. Unlike yesterday where we did rally, you took the short because the market was kind of stretching the balance. That short wasn't as positive or as strong and resulted in people getting stopped out, which ultimately resulted in the market pushing higher, right? They got too short, so the market pushed higher. Hopefully that makes sense. Single prints start 5174. They get filled, not a very large set, but they are indeed there. They get filled at 5177.50, where the set of single prints gets filled. So these will act as upside destinations, not something to lean against. They will become targets on the upside. So if we open up in the lower distribution come Monday, cannot take out 5150, you will look to rotate up into the upper distribution, which starts at 5177.50 and goes until the day's high up here. There's nothing really in between. Goes up until the day's high, 5218.75. Now, one thing I am going to mark is going to be that 5200 level where we did rally up to. It's not technically an afternoon rally high because it was an E period. So technically not an afternoon rally high to but it is an area that we may need to keep an eye on if we do rally up to this level. So we're going to put in this 5,275 level. I pretty much shorted that rally today, almost right near the highs. I'm really proud of that one. And then we're just gonna label this line in sand LIS, because this is kind of where change took place on the push up. Right, we pushed up and we kind of started to auction lower. That's probably solid that. All right. So as far as the upside destinations, all right, your lower distribution starts at 5150 and goes to 5174. You get above that, your target is 7750. You get above that, your target is 5275, which is our line in the sand. Not necessarily an afternoon rally high, but an area we need to monitor. If we do get above there, your next upside destination is 5218.75. From there would be this upper distribution. Even though it got taken away, this upper distribution would be something you would initially need to find acceptance in. So 51 or 52.32 would be your next upside target, and then 52.57.50. From there, 52.75 or 52.74.25. Hopefully, you guys have all the other destinations on the upside as well. So come Monday, I will be looking to see if we open up in the lower distribution. All right, I'll be looking to see if we open up here. If we do, maybe we consolidate a little bit. If we take out the low, we will continue to one time frame down, and your next downside target is 51.24. So I will be taking shorts until we get to that point, looking to see how we react there. Overall, the volume was not terrible. Wish it was more, to say the least, but hopefully we will get some more volatility and more pushes to the downside with good volume as well. So with that being said, if you guys made it to the end, I appreciate it. Leave a like down below, comment how have you been trading, whether you're trading crypto. Let me know what you are trading. If you guys want to learn more, go check out Paul Lasmar on YouTube. Great mentor, great guide. Go check out camelbacktrading.org. Maybe one day I'll be as successful as him and be able to plug my own shit. But right now, just kind of a struggling trader. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.